Nano Machine Chapter 261 starts with Sword Brigade Commander Baek Go-young hurries to Elder O on Mount Bangui but finds nothing but dead bodies of sect members who were slaughtered by someone, and now he goes in direction of the clues to find the real culprit behind the slaughter. Just as he was trailing behind the clues, he sees a light deep in the cave and thinks, a light? I don't know who these people are, but I've almost caught up. And hide behind a rock to observe from a distance, and continues. They'll be able to see me too. So from now on, I need to move carefully. And when I see an opening, if I collapse this tunnel with the Icebeck Xinjiang or block the path. But just as he was thinking a strategy, he hears a bell sound, and then a masked man jumps from the air and kills him. Then scene shifts to demonic cult leader Cheon Yun Woo, where he is circulation his inner energy having surrounded by electricity, while Moongyu glances towards him and thinks, cult leader. It's already been an hour, 2 hours, actually. But the thunder chi isn't subsiding. Normally, you would have finished circulating your chi by now. And then in worried expression continues, is the dragon turtle's energy too difficult for even the cult leader to handle? Then we see Cheon Yun thinking, ugh. This thunder chi is hot enough to burn my meridians. Focus. Protect the 8 extraordinary meridians with demonic chi, matching the flow of this thunder chi. Damn it, it's not easy to circulate it while being careful not to burn my meridians. It would have been much easier if Nano could protect my meridians with self-repair. Then calling Nano out again, he says, have you really disappeared, Nano? Just then Nano comes back online, expanding his interface virtually around Cheon Woo, seeing which Cheon Woo feel relief and happy says, Nano, you! While Nano, still not completely back online, says, hashtag system recovery. Overload. Hashtag error occurred. Modif lock. Disengaged at hashtag %now. Not getting what Nano is saying, Cheon Woo asks, what did you say? What does that mean? Are you okay? To which Nano answers, the video lock on the black box is disengaged, and starts to play a virtual video. Surprised, Cheon Woo asks, this is augmented reality? A black box, what's that? Why this all of a sudden? Where on earth am I? Walls made of cold metal, not stone or wood. And those translucent things that resemble Nano's guidance window, what are they? Then he tries to move around, not knowing why he can't move his body, as this all is only virtual reality video playing on screen or in his mind. I says, then Cheon Woo continues, I want to look around, but for some reason my body won't move. And in frustration asks, Nano, what is this video? Where is this? What do you mean the lock was disengaged due to an error? Just then in video, 2 people are seen entering the lab that is shown in the video. One wearing a lab coat looking like a scientist, while other wearing goggles and looking similar to Cheon Woo, but I am not quite sure of it. Then the scientist says to other, well now, you're quite stubborn too. If you had nanomachines implanted in your eyes, you wouldn't need to wear such glasses. To which the goggles guy says, hey doc, really? The identity chip is already dangerous, but if I get nanomachines implanted too, T.P's tracking will get faster, you know that, right? Listening to which Cheon Woo thinks, nanomachines? Meaning nano? TP? What's that? Their conversation is somewhat difficult to grasp. Then the goggles guy continues, speaking of which, is there really no way to remove the identity chip? To which Doc says, to remove a chip flowing through the bloodstream, you'd have to dialyze all your blood, and then you might lose your martial arts. To which goggles guys gets disappoints, while Cheon Woo, listening to all this conversation, thinks, martial arts? Thought this wasn't the Central Plains martial world? If what he says is true, martial arts exist here, and that man, a martial artist. Then scene shifts back to 2 mans where goggles guy says, then instead of dialysis, what if we stop it with an EMP? To which Doc replies, because of people like you, the chip has an EMP canceller built in. Then goggles guys asks, how about an electric shock? To which Doc answers, to break the chip, you'd need over 10 million volts, right? If you nat to die, I won't stop you. And even if such a method succeeds, if there's a problem with the chip, it automatically notifies the government. To which goggles guy says, then they would notice in an instant. In the end, it seems I can't avoid being chased by TP, and then moves towards the place where Cheon Woo is sitting and seeing the video play in front of him. While glancing at Tat person, Cheon Woo thinks, this man, what is this This sense of déjà vu? Just then Goggles Guys extends his hand to grab something while his hand passes from Cheon-woo hologram. Seeing which Cheon-woo gets surprised and says, "Why wait? Hey, this is... I see. The reason I couldn't move this video right now is... It was Nano's perspective," whereas Goggle Guys grabs a veil of blue liquid and says, "This is the 7th generation nano machine. Heh. The pinnacle of modern science. Nano machine that even T.P can't track. If you announce it to the world, a Nobel Prize in science would be a sure thing." To which Doc says, "With smuggled Maytels and illegal research, what prize?" To which Goggles Guys replies, "Ahaha, that's true. What was it again?" The dash. Doc says, "Gatenium." The Goggles Guy says, "Do you have any gatenium left? You can't make more of this, right?" To which Doc replies, "Do you say that knowing what it is? The 7th generation is the only one of its kind in the world." Cheon-woo, listening to all this conversation, thinks, "Even if I focus and listen, I can't understand what they're talking about. But I understand that nano was created here by their hands. But then how did such a nano come to reside in my body?" Then Goggles Guy says to Doc, "Then we should start preparing." To which Doc asks in worried voice, "Are you really going to do it?" To which Google's Guys excitedly says, "Of course," while raising Nano above, glancing on it, and continues, "I will pass this nano machine to someone from the past." After listening to which Cheon-woo gets surprised while Doc says, "That machine should be able to withstand the magnetic field of the time portal. As you said, it's the pinnacle of modern science. But to pass such a thing to someone from the distant past, it's too dangerous." To which Goggles Guys says to Doc, "That's why most of the dangerous functions have locks on them, right?" Then Doc continues, "Do you still think we should have stopped them during the reign of the Southern Demon Lord? Or perhaps the complete Demon Emperor?" To which Cheon-woo thinks, "Southern Demon Lord? Isn't that my father, the Supreme Cult Leader's title? Complete Demon Emperor is a title I'm hearing for the first time. Who is that? And who are they that he keeps mentioning?" Then Doc continues, "Even if we change the past, that becomes a diverging point, and our timeline will differ from theirs. It will just create a separate future, and it won't affect this world." To which Goggles Guy replies, "I'm well aware of your theory, Doc." Then clicking on his wristwatch to show someone's hologram and continues, "But if that's true, how will you explain this? The strongest life form on Earth, a hero who single-handedly defeated humanity's disasters 6 times. A living chronicle who has lived for 1,000 years. Isn't it strange? How can a human live for over 1,000 years?" To which Doc replies, "He's a living legend who reached the natural realm, which no one else could. If you reach that realm, you absorb nature's key and gain the power of immortality." To which Goggles Guys says, "Is there any nature left to absorb on this planet?" To which Doc replies, "How would someone like me know the profound principles of martial arts?" To which Goggles Guy continues, "I don't know either. No one probably does. Martial arts have regressed, and the remaining martial arts are monopolized by Blade 6. To which Doc asks, "What are you trying to say?" Goggles Guys then points towards his screen showing someone picked to Doc and says, "Look at this. This is 1870? If for some purpose, a person born in the present era traveling from the past to a distant past, what if they are continuously time traveling? If that purpose is the alteration of the past, and if it has already succeeded, leave the Doc shocked as well as Cheon-woo, who is listening this in the playing video. And with this chapter come to an end. What a fucking spicy cliffhanger. The playing of virtual video in Nano Black Box, and the video is related to future events of Nano creation, and reason behind it is to maybe correcting the altered timeline by 6 Blade Sect or fucking them up, I don't know, but to know, let's wait for the next chapter. Until then, like, subscribe and share.